Hello, and welcome back to Astro Codex's channel. This is a guide to DragonFable's Bulwark DragonLord class, or BDL, which is the DragonLord class with the Dragon's Bulwark artifact. BDL is a powerful, easy-to-use defensive class with ramping damage and a massive toolkit of different defensive skills. You can acquire the class by unlocking DragonLord from the Priestess at Sunbreeze Grove, then equipping the Dragon's Bulwark artifact, which you can get from Book 3 Dragon's Grasp for a total of 325,000 gold or 750 dragon coins. Bulwark DragonLord has 3 class mechanics. The first mechanic is that every skill gains 5% total base damage every turn. For example, on turn 5, every class skill gains 25% base damage, and on turn 10, every skill gains 50% base damage. This is capped at 125%, which happens after 25 turns. The second mechanic is its Dragon Spirit passive. Using one of the 8 Dragon Spirit skills, namely the Water, Wind, Earth, Darkness, Energy, Light, Ice, or Fire Dragon Spirit skills, builds a stack of Dragon Spirit, represented by the diamonds on the right side of the widget. Once you have 2 stacks of Dragon Spirit, you can click the right side of the widget to empower your next Dragon Spirit skill, which will consume both stacks of Dragon Spirit and cause the skill to gain additional or improved effects. The third and final mechanic is its Dragon's Body passive. Using any of the 7 non-Dragon Spirit skills on Bulwark DragonLord builds a stack of Dragon's Body, represented by the circles on the left side of the widget. When you have 2 stacks of Dragon's Body, the next non-spirit skill will be automatically empowered and consume both stacks of Dragon's Body. In other words, every third non-Dragon Spirit skill you use will be empowered. I don't recommend using Bulwark DragonLord for normal questing. Instead, if you want to use DragonLord, I strongly recommend you purchase the Dragon's Rage or Wrath artifacts and use Rage or Wrath DragonLord instead. That being said, if you insist, you should use Eye versus smaller enemies, stun larger enemies with Dragon Tail, and use your multi-attack on multiple enemies. Instead of trying to set up a primary damage rotation, Bulwark DragonLord gameplay and boss fights revolves picking the right defensive skills to mitigate incoming damage while slowly chipping away at the enemy. As a defensive class, Bulwark DragonLord has a total of 5 skills whose primary use is mitigating or preventing incoming damage. These skills are Light Dragon Spirit, a 3-turn blind with 7 cooldown that can be empowered to become a 5-turn blind. Ice Dragon Spirit, a 3-turn boost reduction with 7 cooldown. Earth Dragon Spirit, a 4-turn damage mitigation skill with 12 cooldown. Darkness Dragon Spirit, a 2-turn MPM shield with 8 cooldown. And Dragon's Claw, which gives it 4 turns of +5 or +8 all resist. In addition, it also has a great HP regeneration skill in Wind Dragon Spirit, which can be empowered to give a 1-turn shield, and a good MP regeneration skill in Water Dragon Spirit, which can be empowered to purge debuffs on the player. Generally speaking, BDL gameplay involves interleaving the appropriate defensive Dragon Spirit skills with Dragon Bite into Dragon Claw, and then slotting in Fire, Energy, Wings, and Eye for additional damage wherever they fit. That being said, BDL does have a damage rotation in the rare cases where its defensive prowess is either not needed or ineffective. By using Empowered Fire into Energy, into Wings, into Eye, into Empowered Heart, a fully ramped up Bulwark DragonLord can output around 5.5 thousand damage in 5 turns, which is quite impressive for a defensive class. While every single Dragon Spirit and Dragon's Body empowerment has its niche, some are still better than others. Assuming standard defensive gameplay, I'd recommend that you save your spirit empowerments for empowering Light Dragon Spirit to extend the blind for a full 2 turns, or Earth Dragon Spirit to take only a quarter of the damage you would without empowering Earth. I'd also recommend empowering Dragon Claw if you have a choice in your rotation, as a 3 additional all resist translates to almost 10% less damage overall with standard best in slot gear. At level 90, you generally want to use 200 dexterity and 200 endurance for boss fights, with the remaining 45 points allocated to some combination of charisma and wisdom. Dexterity is used because of your powerful, high uptime DOT. As usual, endurance is used for survivability in boss fights. Charisma is used for additional damage and utility via Pet Dragon, while wisdom enables more sustain. In terms of strengths, the sheer variety of defensive mechanics BDL has means it rarely gets countered by any boss mechanic, like other defensive classes can be. Its great heal gives it a huge margin of error. After ramping up, it also does a decent amount of damage, comparable to classes like Riftwalker or Timekiller. This lets it tackle healing bosses that can wall ordinary defensive classes. That being said, BDL's 25-turn ramp-up period means that it can struggle a bit versus fights that demand immediate burst. The long ramp-up period also means that player error or poor luck have more opportunities to cause a loss. Recently, it has also suffered in fights that are balanced around the player having a particular trinket skill, such as the Weight of Life or Reclamation and Retribution. This concludes the guide to Bulwark DragonLord. For more in-depth explanation of how the skills and passives work, check out the links in the description. What do you think about BDL? Do you enjoy the class's design? Which classes or topics should I make guides for next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and good luck.